She's back. Hello and welcome to Ivory Library. I'm Ivy or ivory-mae, and today I have a book haul. I have accumulated so many books over the last month because I got off my book buying ban because, y'all, I was a good girl, I read a book. That was my proviso. I had to read one singular book because I was in a reading slump. That was it. First and foremost, I think we're going to start with Bookshop books, just because that's where I have the most. And up first, we're gonna have a bit of a talk about The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I absolutely loved this novel the first time I read it. I read it in, I think I was in year 10, or the holidays between year 9 and year 10, because it was on my reading list for year 10. Fell in love with it. I literally, to the point where I asked my mom and my dad for Christmas when they asked me what I wanted, I said, I just want this book, and they bought it for me. And then I had to study it, and my love for it just went and just disappeared. So of course, me being me, I gave away the book because I was feeling petty. That's Tonks, she's come to participate. I gave it away. This is my original cover. I found this in an op shop for literally maybe $2, and I was like, oh, you know what? I would actually love to own a copy of it so that when the time comes, I will reread it. And I don't like any of the other covers. I think that this one is probably my favorite. Up next, one of my all-time favorite horror franchises / psychological thrillers. I found a hardcover copy of one of the Hannibal Lecter novels because Silence of the Lamb, Hannibal Lecter, Clarice, all of those characters, I just love everything. And if you haven't read the books, please do, because the dynamic between Hannibal and Clarice is reason enough to read them. Great vibes on that cover. Gives me I don't know if anyone's seen this, but it reminds me of Blood Ties. It's one of my favorite vampire TV shows of all time. To follow, I found a copy of The Da Vinci Code because my mother read this and said that she didn't like it. She thought it was one of the worst books that she ever read in her life and just was boring. I'm not sure that's actually what she said. I just know she didn't like it. And I'm an avid believer of you can't have an opinion on something until you consume it. So I want to be able to read this, although the writing is extremely small, but I've watched the movie. But I feel like you get a different vibe from the book. Next one might seem a bit weird, but I also picked up a copy of The School of Good and Evil because I've always really wanted to read this book since I watched the movie. I was like, I feel like this is missing something and I want to find out what it's missing. So I picked this up and oh my god, that's so cute. Somebody's bookmark's still in it. I love when that happened. But yeah, so this is the first one. I didn't bother buying the rest of the set. There was a million copies of them there. I just thought I'd buy the first one, see what I think, and then if I feel the need to keep on reading, I shall read. I also, now I know we say don't judge a book by its cover, but this next book reeled me in with its cover. Tell me that isn't cute. It's called The Wall. And then I was reading the back of it and it actually sounds low-key like a psychological thriller. I feel like I've heard of this novel before, but I'd never seen this little cover for it. I don't know who owned it before me, but they must have been patchouliing their house to the max because it still smells slightly of patchouli. If there is one thing that your girl loves, it's shitty fantasy novels, as we can see from my, oh sorry, I probably shouldn't have spoken about that and then touched The Lord of the Rings, but also I love old school crappy fantasy novels. They give me the yes, I love it. This book had that vibe. I'm not saying that it is a crappy old fantasy novel, I'm just saying that it has the vibe of a crappy old fantasy novel. So it's about a 12-year-old boy who's just killed someone. He's on the run. I'm not gonna spoil too much because I also don't want to spoil too much for myself. 1997. Perfect. Look at that. Such a good... Oh, it's called The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman. Just realized I might not have been filming the names of them this whole time. I'm just gonna carry on because I really can't be bothered restarting the video because I was in the middle of another vlog and stopped to film this vlog, which I keep on doing. I apologize if I didn't read the other titles. Being Ivy will apologize on my behalf, I'm quite sure. But yes. Up next, tell me that this doesn't just give like 80s novella vibes. It is Alan Garner and it's called Redshift, but I can't actually, it's just dialogue. Well, it's not just dialogue, but it is just it's pretty much just a conversation, and I think that's so interesting. I'm wondering how I'm gonna read that because I really struggled with not even having quotation marks in normal people. When I read that, I really struggled, so I'm wondering how my brain's gonna go reading this. I also grabbed these two because again, fantasy novels tell me that these don't look amazing. I have Witchfire and Witch Storm by James Clemens. I don't know, they just have that like 80s vibe. I don't know where they published. Let's just find it out. It says copyright 1998, but I'm not sure that is correct. First trade paperback 1998. Yeah, so, but like what I really love is that on the cover of these, there's like these little scrolls and it says book 1 and book 2. Blatant, plain as day for you to see. So I think I'm gonna make a little vlog. I'm currently filming a vlog about a different witch series that I'm reading. So I think maybe reading these ones next would be a really interesting contrast, and then we'll just see. And then last but not least, on Bookshop finds, to add to my collection, my ever-growing collection of Stephen King novels, we have Desperation and Firestarter. Look at... Yo, that's Baby Drew Barrymore. Look at this. I cannot express to you how happy I am about finding the Drew Barrymore copy of Firestarter. And then also just this beautiful copy of Desperation, because it's just the classic Stephen King format. Look at this. Look at this. It matches my copy of Cujo. So I'm very, very excited about that. Up next, we're probably just gonna do ones that I bought from like actual bookshops recently. Now, funny story, I am gonna talk about this one first. It is called The Cursed by Harper L. Woods. I picked this up because one, the cover is friggin' stonkin' beautiful. I was reading the back and I was like, oh my god, that sounds phenomenal. However, when I'm minding my business, just living my life, I did not flip to the page that said anything, but I found out it's the second one in the series. So I was a bit bummed about that. But then also, I just want to bought the first one in the series, and this is what I'm currently reading. These two are currently getting a vlog, which say I'm about 45% of the way through of this first one. And I'm not going to say too much, because you need to go watch the vlog. Promise me, pinky promise. I'll go watch it. No takesy backsies. But I'm quite glad that I went back and bought the first one instead of just like returning this one, because the more books the merrier. And I'm not gonna lie, all I will say, not my typical book, but I'm enjoying it. Speaking of series, they had a box set of the, what is it called? The Prison Healer. The Prison Healer? The Prison Healer. And I've been dying to read these books for a while now. They've been recommended to me multiple times because people just think I'll like them. I live in the middle of whoop whoop, or to people that don't know what whoop whoop is, it means like the butt fuck middle of nowhere. So I was able to find these two for a really, really long time, but I was never able to find the first one, and even ordering it online, like it was going to be so expensive. It was like $50 to get it to where I lived. Last but not least, from Kmart, we have Dark Immortal, which is it literally says here, the first in a deliciously dark, dangerously romantic black vampire trilogy. Because you want to know what my biggest complaint about vampire books is? There's never any black vampires. And you want to know, this author is a person of color. She is kick fucking ass. She has a bachelor's degree in education. And that's literally what I want to do. Slay. Anyway. How's this for a dedication? And I don't mean to step on anybody's toes. I'm just like, hell yes, finally somebody said it. For all the black girls who've always marveled at the dark beauty of vampires, the immortals look like us in this one. That's freaking kick-ass, girl. Hell yes. Hell yes. But yeah, so I literally, like, I'm so excited to read this. It's a tale as old as time, bloodthirsty vampire, innocent maiden. Except this maiden isn't so innocent. This maiden is a murderer. And I was like, it's coming home with me. And also, look at that cover. I totally judge a book by its cover. If you don't want me to judge a book by its cover, pick a better cover, because not okay. I just think this is going to be, like, amazing to read. I'm very, very excited. I read the first sentence and I was like, bazoing! Amazing. From my local bookshop, which is kind of thin on options, but I needed something to read on the train. I got this really cute little version. It's like just Emily Dickin's poems, but like it's so cute. Like this cover is delicious. It's got all these like red foil on it. Oh my gosh, deliciously yummy. Anyway, so my plan is to like just go through and annotate it as I read it and just carry it with me and have it kind of be like my book when I need a book. Last but not least, from bookstores, because I am in a book club. and this is what we're reading. It's House of Leaves. If you don't know a lot about House of Leaves, I'll probably dare say I'll be making a video reading this because it is a lot. Bit of a weird category to get books from, but my mum works in a primary school and I love to just consume anything that I think is good. Like, I don't really limit myself to be like, oh, I can't read that, it's young adult, or I can't read that, it's for children. So we have this really cute little, it's teeny tiny, this cute little novel that is inspired by the Brothers Grimm and all of their little like things. I don't know, I just thought that it was really cute. It like just goes through all of the little adventures that they write about, I suppose. So I thought that was really funny to pick that up. As well as that, I got like this kind of like horror novel, I suppose you could call it. But yeah. Again, sorry, Tonks has been crazy. It's very teeny tiny. I haven't had a chance to really look at this one or read it yet, but also like sprayed edges, we stand. Like, it's not going to be groundbreaking, but they'll still be fun to read. Like, the storyline is there, you know? Last but not least, from the book fair, this reminded me of my youth. I grew up reading, well, in the era of like Maze Runner, The Hunger Games, The Giver, Divergent, all of those really, really amazing books, and Shatter Me. Thank you, I'm that old now. I'm not actually that old, please don't quote me on that and don't come for me. But this really, really reminded me of that. So she's like from a perfect society where there's no sickness, no nothing, blah, 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 blah. And then she like goes to the Undercity where it's like all of this grotty, dirty, ill stuff. So, it says, fast-paced and thrilling story set in a fictional yet believable future, explores important themes and asks some big questions about where our society could be heading. I'm all about that. This one's more decently sized. I actually think that this is going to be like a full-on like novel. I went to a trivia night and there was like a silent auction. So from my local bookstore, she had a $10 voucher and a few books that she had donated. So Mum and I bet on that because I go everywhere with my mumsy. And then we split the books. And she did the immense pleasure of letting me keep this one, which is called The Invisible Hour. It's by Alice Hoffman, who, if you don't know, is the author of Practical Magic, which is one of the most amazing books and or movies of all time. But yeah, 16-year-old Ivy is pregnant and alone. Good thing I'm not a 16-year-old Ivy anymore, because that would be really, really scary. I'm also not pregnant and I'm not alone. I like just love the way that she accumulates knowledge in her brain and then transfers it onto paper. It's the same as like Cornelia Funke. Like, how did that come from here onto a page? I aspire to be that way. And last but not least, we thought this was really, really funny because essentially I'm actually a really happy person, but also like I go through it from time to time, y'all. It's a journal of everything I hate, which is not necessarily like a book haul, but also like, this is so funny. I changed out of sweatpants for this. What's the most hilariously awful date you've been on? What's the moment you knew it was going south? What, like, it's just like funny. I mean, that doesn't work because I've only ever been on dates with my current partner, and TBH, all of them were kind of slay. And we've been dating since we were 15 and 16. And I literally cannot, off the top of my head, think of one day where I was like, that was shit. This is my thing, see? This is what I'm saying. Like, sure, somebody could probably be like, oh, that one time he like, I don't know, I can't think of anything. I can't even think of a fake example. I will say though, on our first ever date, he, this is so cute. It like makes me giggle every time I think about it. He ate beef jerky with salsa, which sounds weird, but he was just trying to make me laugh because I was really, really anxious. And low-key, I've tried that combo and y'all, it's slaps. He was right. But anyway, with that lovely little story of my life that you didn't ask for, thank you for watching. I will be posting a video organizing my bookshelves very, very soon, so please go watch that. I'm also going to be posting the vlog regarding these two books. So please, I beg you, watch that because that took so much. Well, it is taking time. I'm currently in the midst of. Please go watch that. Please don't forget to subscribe and like, and please leave a comment. I really, really, really want to build a little community. I want to make friends. Talk to me, guys. Talk to me. Anyway, with that, I leave you all. Thank you for watching. Happy reading, Bookworms. I'll see you guys next time.